Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Shameless Freedom Podcast. And today we are going to be talking about divorce and the shame that the church has put upon so many women in making the decision to end a marriage. And I am sure many of you out there have heard this expression or felt, should I stay or should I go? And I can remember being in that place and feeling unhappy in this relationship. And I thought, I've done everything I can to make this work. What is wrong with me? Like, what lesson am I not learning? What am I not doing that I can't seem to make this work? Because it is until death do you part. You don't get divorced. It's like a mortal sin that you were not able to save this marriage, that you didn't do everything you could to make it happen. And I see so many women be stuck in this unhappy place and feeling this guilt and shame, even for even having the thoughts of wanting to no longer be in the relationship that they are in. Now, here's the thing. I am not suggesting that if you are in a relationship that you should absolutely go get divorced, because you know what? Here's the truth. There are some relationships that are meant to work through those things, and it actually helps to make your relationship even better and even stronger. And yet there are other relationships where it is time to leave. It is time to say yes to you, that you're not doing something wrong. And this is where, again, I think the church teaches that you don't get divorced, that divorce is bad. I mean, being raised in the Catholic Church, I was taught, well, you can't go to communion after you've gotten divorced. And I understand the powers that be make the decisions that they have to make, but that sounds absolutely ridiculous to me. If I have a relationship with God and I should not be put in a position to say, because I have divorced my husband, that I can no longer receive the sacrament of communion. And the truth is, these beliefs that we have been taught shape us and keep us trapped. Now, there are some good things about being able to work through things in your marriage if that is the path for you. And if it is, great. And for others, it's not necessarily the path. And we should not be shamed or feel wrong that something's wrong with us because our relationship didn't work. I remember when things were not healthy with my own relationship. There is a book and a movie that I recommend to everyone. It's actually called Fireproof is the movie, and the book is called The Love Dare. And I actually did a 30-day love dare for our relationship as a last chance to save the marriage. And it's kind of funny because some of my friends who were, deeper in their journey than I at that point in time said to me, we kind of knew where this was already headed. Like we could see it in you, who you are, where you're going. But I needed to experience that myself and to know what that meant. And there are people who have used the Love Dare and have rekindled their marriages and their relationships, and it's absolutely amazing. And for me, it was a tool to say, you know what? I tried everything I could I had a friend say, "You even tried to revive a dead horse." You know how easy it is to revive a dead horse? It's impossible. You can't. How many times do we try to do things we try to control? And it's not something that is in our control. There's another path that we are meant to be on. And I felt so much shame. I was married for 20 years. And the thoughts that would pop up into my head on should I actually end this marriage or not, all came back to my religious programming that I was bad, wrong, dirty, shameful for even thinking about this. Um, there's another great book. It's a movie. It's called The War Room. And I remember my mother saying, "Oh gosh, this is your last attempt, chance to save the marriage, please." And there was a moment in the movie where this woman, she claimed, "God, you're going to intercede and you're going to save my marriage." Because she felt it in her core that that's what she wanted. She declared it. And you have to watch the movie to see all the amazing things that happened to allow this to unfold. And when I saw that movie, I did not get the same visceral gut reaction. And part of me felt horrible. Like, here I'm supposed to be this godly, Catholic, religious woman, and I couldn't feel in the core, in the pit of my being, that I wanted to save the marriage. And I know there are so many other women out there that are feeling the same way, feeling trapped, that you don't know how to get out. You don't know how to find yourself because you have all of these beliefs that are saying you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. And if you do, then you're not going to go to heaven again. Or, God forbid, you can't go to communion. And it's like we're shunned away from the core foundation of what life is all about. God is about love. This is about loving yourself, honoring your relationships, and not settling. God does not want you to settle. But too many of us are in relationships that are not fulfilling and not healthy. And we have this guilt that stops us from moving forward, from saying yes to who we are, because it feels wrong to even think about ending a relationship and a marriage. What would that do? What are people going to say? I mean, I literally remember feeling like I was wearing the scarlet letter A on me. I'm divorced. I am broken goods, right? Like, you don't want me. And here's the interesting truth. When I went to get divorced, it was actually a collaborative. And the judge actually denied my divorce, which I thought was ludicrous and ridiculous. And I can remember going back home, crying and going, "I don't understand, God." I was at my house. I was picking weeds. I remember, "God, please help me. I'm in the roots. I'm picking weeds," crying, saying, "Give me a sign." And as I'm picking weeds, the thought comes into my head: weeds, dirt, roots. Oh my gosh, it's wrong to get divorced. I have a belief that it is wrong in the Catholic Church to get divorced. So I decided that I was going to drive to the church that I got married in. The funny story is that um, the church is actually now in an all Spanish neighborhood. So there was no English, but it didn't matter. I walked in and I remember kneeling down, throwing my hands up and saying, "Please release me. I know that I got married here. I know I made sacred vows here, but please, this is in the best interest of both of us, of my family, of my lineage. Like, This is no longer serving. And after that um, experience, went back to the judge, and that I'm not going to get into all the weeds on that. The judge still denied my divorce, escalated it, and then that guy approved it. But I share this story because it's about the energetics of the belief. And I truly believe if I did not ask to be released energetically from that subconscious belief, it wouldn't have happened. And so many of us have these beliefs underneath the core because they are just a part of who we are. But we don't realize that they are part of our identity and they are inhibiting us from the life that we want to live. And what I realized many years later after my divorce was that I asked to be released from the divorce, but I never asked to be released from the shame and the judgment that was created as a result of being divorced. And it wasn't until years later that that actually rose to the surface that, wait a minute, there's another layer here of, yes, there's a part of me that is absolutely fine with it. But there was another part of me from a subconscious belief perspective that felt it was wrong to get divorced, that people treated me differently, that you can't get remarried in the Catholic Church unless you have an annulment. And that drove me crazy. I mean, my mom actually had a lot of women from the church really wanting to have conversations with me, telling me how I had to have an annulment. And I had to go through this process to make sure that I was in alignment with God because I got divorced. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I do a lot of healing work. I have a great relationship with God and with sisterhood and all the things happening in my world. I don't feel the need to have to go through the church rules so that they can say my sin has been released. That it wasn't enough to even go to confession. It wasn't enough to say, God, please take this away. No. According to the church rules, you actually have to have an annulment in order for it to be seen as forgiven in the church, and then to be allowed to be remarried and to receive communion and all of that. That there is so much pressure that we have placed on these gentle souls that we have that are searching for love and meaning and connection. But we've taught to be shamed. And if you are someone who is experiencing this, should I stay or should I go? But you have this religious tape that is running in the back of your head. It's wrong to get divorced. And and it's even more than what will people think of me. It's what will I think of myself? What will God think of me if I do this? Right? So there's the shame before the decision and the not being able to make it work. And then there's the after the fact of, okay, now I've done this and look at what I've done. And feeling like there is this power in the heavens that is still judging me, you, for making choices to end a sacred sacrament. And for any of you listening out there to this episode, if any of this resonates with you, I invite you to reach out to schedule a call with me. I think there are too many women that feel this way and have no one to talk to. They don't know where to go. Again, women are not thinking. My religious belief is the thing that is stopping me from saying yes to my life, to saying yes to God, to surrendering to your soul in the truth and your purpose in life. Too often we get stuck in these religious traps and traumas that make us feel less than, that make us feel shameful, that lead us in the path of settling. And God doesn't want you to settle. That's not why we're here. He wants joy, abundance, growth, all of that for all of us. And we do not need to feel this scarlet letter A, like there's something wrong with us, that we have been stamped as broken and not worthy. And that's not true, because you are an amazing, beautiful gift to this world. Whether you are single, you are married, you are divorced, you are thinking about divorce, this is an opportunity for you to feel into your heart and soul and see, is there a belief from my family, from my religion, from my faith that is holding me back from saying yes to what your heart truly desires? And I invite you to allow yourself to have space be held for you as you dive deeper into the truth of who you are and who you are becoming.